Good afternoon and welcome to TXAPA Live. This is today's lineup. My name is Jim Warren. I'll be doing the safety share this afternoon. Then we'll be doing news and updates with Harold Mullen, our Executive Vice President. And then we will be talking about the HMAC with both Harold and Corey Schwarz. So we take questions at any time during this program. Remember, just type in the question and go ahead and put it in the box in there. So. And someone just typed back, beautiful, Buta, my bad. So let's go ahead and get started with the safety share. Got to find it. Here's what we're doing. We're going to talk about reducing nighttime driving risks. And if you haven't found, if you don't know where to go, if you go to our website, right on the screen in there, if you go to the website and just click under education, then drop down there and click on safety shares. You'll get all our safety shares and you can download them and you can use them for your own people or use them for any meetings that you've got. We just want to get the word out. So we know how perilous driving at night is compared to driving during the day. While statistically we only do 1/4 of our driving after sunset, 50% of traffic deaths happen at night. When daylight saving times ends, for 2020, it's 2 a.m. Sunday, November 1st, so not too far from now. Many people will find themselves spending more time driving in the dark. Here are 4 safety tips that could help reduce the risks of driving at nighttime. Number 1, use your lights. Be sure your headlights are clean and on before you get out on the road. Be aware of distractive lighting as well. Dim your interior lights so that critical controls remain visible, not disturbing, to avoid disorienting effects from glancing from a bright dashboard to a dark roadway. Routinely test all your lights, including turn signals and brake lights. Slow down. Speed-related crashes increase over 10% from day to night due to lower visibility and shorter reaction times. Driving at safe speed will increase your ability to spot hazards or anticipate what other drivers will do. Number 3, keep your eyes peeled. While your attention should always be focused on the road, this is especially important at night. A few hazards to be on the lookout for at night, including vehicles without lights, debris in the road, animals crossing the road, and unpredictable roadways. Number 4, be a defensive driver. After dark, staying alert is essential when you are behind the wheel. You are 4 times more likely to be involved in an accident at nighttime if you are drinking and driving, driving under the influence, or driving fatigued. Be aware impaired drivers are most frequently on the road after dark, particularly between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. They've always said nothing good happens after midnight. And here's one more example. All right. Well, so thank you for joining us. Now about City of Fair Oaks Ranch. Thank you again for coming on board. We are ready to get started, and I'm going to turn the program over to Mr. Harold Mullen. Harold, why don't you welcome everybody?
All right. Thank you, Big Jim. I appreciate that. I'm Harold Mullen with TXAPA. I'd like to welcome you to TXAPA Live in another great series we have going on. And today we're going to be talking about the HMAC, the importance of technicians with Corey Schwarz, the director of the HMAC. You know, one of the things that we recently did was our TXAPA Fall Focus. And unfortunately, we couldn't be with everybody. We couldn't have everybody together to join us down at the TXAPA annual meeting this year. So we decided to have our Fall Focus and communicate on some of the things that we were going to do anyway. And it was a huge success. I just want to report that we had over 800 people to join us during the month of September for our Fall Focus. It was great to bring everybody together. Good information was shared. We had great response back from that. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for joining us during our Fall Focus. Thank you for joining us on TXAPA Live. We just really appreciate you being here, and we want to be here with you. And hopefully we're going to be able to do that in January at our membership meeting. You're going to be seeing some information come out January 19th through the 21st. We're going to try to have a membership meeting again down at La Cantera in San Antonio. So in person, it will be in person. So that's our goal, is to do that. We hope everybody can join us down there. Of course, we will be taking the precautions that need to be taken during that time, but we're certainly going to try and do that on a face-to-face basis. But during the TXAPA Fall Focus, one of the things we did is we focused on fun, and that fund was our scholarship program, and we tried to raise money for the scholarship program, and we did, and we want to thank everybody for that. And I just want to recognize some of those folks that contributed to us, that are so generous. And I know the others have said the money is on the way, but I just want to recognize these folks and say thank you for that. Cutler Repaving, Power Screen, A.L. Helmkamp, HNTB, Century Asphalt Materials, Angel Brothers Enterprises, Anderson Columbia Company, Road Tech, Longview Asphalt, Lawas North America, Jebro, Elms Machia, Austin Bridge and Road, Bond Pro, Pavetex, Wright Asphalt. I just want to thank those firms, and also a lot of individuals. There's a lot of individuals here who have donated money to us, to the scholarship program, to change lives, and that's what our program does, is change lives. And I also want to thank those who participated in our virtual golf tournament this year. That also raised $2,500. So all total, when you put those things together, we have a grand total of $86,737.76. And I'm not sure if that 76 cents came from Dale Rand or if it came from Robert Lee. Dale Rand and Robert Lee were the contestants in our TXAPA Squares program. It was a huge success. Robert Lee won over Dale Rand, so he got money donated in his name to the scholarship program. But I just want to say thank you to everyone that participated in that. We had 9 great stars up there that did a super job. So just thank you to everyone that participated in that. And thank you, our members and industry partners, for participating and being here to see it. So thank you so much for that. We appreciate it.
And that's also on the YouTube channel if you want to watch it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is on our YouTube channel. It's a lot of fun. We had a great time doing it. So we would like to have you up there looking at that. All right, we want to jump right into our program today. We have a lot of good information to share with you. And we know that one thing that we're always cognizant of is quality asphalt pavement has to have a lot of testing. They have to have a lot of accurate tests done and a lot of communication with that. So we want to bring in Corey again. A lot of people say, why in the world do you have Corey Schwarz up there all the time, asking him questions? Well, that's the only way we can communicate with that guy to get anything out of him, is to ask him a bunch of questions.
I'm asking the same question. Why am I here?
But the reason why is the HMAC is such an important part of our industry. As many of you are in that technician business, you know technicians, you employ technicians, you are a technician, and we just want to let you know that we're behind you. We know how important it is, and we want to make sure that we're providing you the things that will make you successful. So, Corey, I know you do a great job of doing that. You're the director at the HMAC. How in the world you been doing, man?
Man, it's been great. So I got to see my son. He came back from OU this past week, and so I got to spend a little bit of time with him. And my daughter's, again, I said, is getting married, and my youngest is starting basketball. So life's been good.
You know, I really like to say this. Oklahoma, I'm not sure they're playing football. Oh yeah, they are. They're not in the top. Never mind. Okay. We'll move on from that. So is your son still a fan of Oklahoma football?
Yes, he is. I think their record's probably about the same as Mississippi State's.
We've only lost one. We're 1-1.
Oklahoma has lost 2. And my wife did tell me the other day I was rooting for Texas, and she's like, "Whoa, what are you doing? You got a kid at Oklahoma. You got to root for Oklahoma." And I'm like, "What?"
You got to root where the money's going.
Yeah, I got to root where the money's going.
There you go.
You got a financial investment in that organization.
That is right, Jim.
Well, like I said earlier, we had a great fall focus, and one of those things, Corey, we focused on was quality, and that means we had technician awards up there. Can you tell me about the technician awards and who won? And congratulations to those folks.
Yeah, every year, we honor some great people, and this year is no exception. Jim, do you mind pulling up the TXAPA YouTube channel?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
There we go.
On this YouTube channel, there's some great videos that kind of highlight each of these individuals. So you can kind of look there. This year's 1A, level 1A technician of the year was Jennifer Schaefer. So you can watch her video, or 1B, Juan Bustos. Jonathan, big man, got the level 2 over at Austin Materials. And our soils came from South Texas with Ronaldo Lopez. So all great people.
Fantastic. I know that that's all well deserved. We just recognize them once a year, but they are providing services all year long. And I know just the other day, we had some questions come up. We're trying to figure out some things. And what do? We call up our award-winning technician. We called up big man over there, and Jonathan, and he answered some questions for us and gave us some direction.
Straightened us out.
Yeah, he straightened us out. Thank you, Jim. I mean, that's true. Yeah, thank you, Jonathan, for straightening us out, but gave us great info. And that's what we do from time to time. When we have questions, we even call on our technicians, and especially our award winners, and thank them and get information from them so that they do a great job. So that was a great celebration. I know the Certification Steering Committee went through a process to do that.
Yeah, we go through a process. We filter through all the applications that come in and take time reading them and going through them, and as a committee, choosing the right person.
Fantastic. Another group that we probably don't recognize enough around here, especially on TXAPA Live or other places, are our evaluators. We couldn't do our jobs at the HMAC without our evaluators. Tell me about the evaluators, who they are, and what's going on.
We literally could not do our job without this great group of people. We have Pat Crom. He's been here for, I would say around 2006 or so. So he's been around a long time. He certifies people on every single certification level that we have. Kathy comes from the Brownwood district along with Peggy. Tons of experience there too, ex-TxDOT employees. Josiah, one of the biggest things Josiah has been doing for us lately is really helping us develop our virtual program. Buster from Abilene, he was originally up in the Amarillo area with Ty, and sadly this year we lost an instructor. She retired, which is great for her. It's great for her, sad for us. But Cindy was a valuable part of our team, and hate to see her go, but I know it's time to enjoy life sometimes too. But with that, it kind of gave us the opportunity to bring Larry Welch back. So Larry's been helping us both virtually and with some of our in-person classes. So that's been a great experience as well.
I just want to say thank you to all of our evaluators. They've done a great job, continue to do a great job. And that's one thing I always hear, Corey, from the people coming through, the students coming through, is the evaluators always go that extra mile. They're always willing to help. They're always willing to answer those questions. So great job on their part. I want to say thank you to Cindy. Cindy was a integral part of our operation for many years. So congratulations, Cindy. I know you're out there probably fishing right now, having a good time, but thank you so much for your work and dedication that you gave to HMAC. Corey, we've had such crazy year this year. We've been doing all kind of things, and TxDOT has been working with us on providing extensions for people. We're trying to make sure people are covered through this extension and making sure they can stay certified and all those type of things. Kind of where do we stand right now with our extension policies?
So materials and tests sent out an email, and there will not be an extension to the extension. So basically, the latest one says if you expired between March 16th to October 1st, you basically had a window then extend it to January 2nd. And so of 2021. So they're keeping that hard deadline, but what they have done is created a grace period. And if let's say your certification expires October 10th, which falls out of that grace period or out of that extension, basically, if you are registered for a class before January 1st, you get it's a grace period. You get that extension to that time, and you will not be inactive.
So how difficult is it for me to get into a class now with all these extensions and things going on? How difficult is it?
So our classes here at the facilities, we've gone a lot of online as well with virtual classes. And so we have no trouble right now. Most of our classes have openings. If you see a class that needs some help or needs an opening, just give us a call. We're adding classes left and right, especially when it comes to virtual classes.
So if I'm online, I'm using your great website now, and all the classes, I'm doing online registration, and they seem to be full for some reason. What should I do?
You should just give us a call at the Hot Mix Asphalt Center. It's 512-312-2099.
So you got great virtual classes going on as well as in-person classes going on. Just to give everybody an idea, we have taken major steps for COVID prevention to make sure we're doing the things the CDC recommends and those type of things. Can you just remind us what kind of steps you've taken here in beautiful Buda at the Gene Carrier building for the HMAC?
Yeah, so basically, before you even get here, that's where it starts. We send out an email. It's a map of our facilities, tells you where to park, what color. We kind of broke down the parking lot into different colors, doors into different colors. And so if you're parking in the yellow parking lot, you kind of go to the central parking lot and go to the back door there. Everything's color coded, and so we kind of keep in smaller groups to where everyone's not entering one place. And at that point as well, when you come in, we read over the COVID guidelines, but we also take your temperature. And to enter the facilities, we still require a mask. So we're doing that. We wipe down all the equipment before and after use of each individual. And we also are, no one stays in the building. So for certification classes, once you finish your written test, you're asked to leave the building. You can go wait in your car or basically go down to, grab something to eat, come back at your allotted time to do your hands-on certification.
Corey, over the years, there's been several changes and modifications to the certification programs. And I know you've gone to certification in the true certification classes itself. It's strictly certification. You have to come in there and perform those tests, and you also have to pass your written test without any help whatsoever. Right. From time to time, I hear a few disgruntled folks about saying, well, this course is a little too hard. It's harder than it used to be. It's failing rates going up. What do you say to people that say this course is too hard for me now? What do you say to that?
I guess Pat Crom pops to my mind. He jokingly tells individuals when they tell him that of, hey, would you like a quarter to call someone that cares? So he jokingly says that.
No, wait a minute. Pat can get away with that though. I mean, come on.
I can't get away with
that.
Exactly. I totally agree with you there, but jokingly he says that. But when you look at a whole, our failure rate runs anywhere between 8 and 12%. So, and even out of that includes people that fail the written test the first time, which is majority of that number. And out of those people, we've been keeping track since about middle of last year. 100% of the people that come back to take the written test have passed their second attempt.
100%?
100%.
Wow.
So.
Okay.
So is it just jitters, or maybe kind of jitters on that first time, or feeling the pressure maybe?
Feeling the pressure, and I think a lot of it's just not coming prepared. They go back, they have 30 days to come back to take the test, and they kind of saw how hard it is, and they prepared themselves.
Now, I'm just kind of curious, what are some of the main excuses people use about not being able to pass the course?
Oh, the first one is my boss didn't tell me that I'm doing this. I've never run this test. They didn't show. I've never even seen that piece of equipment. So I'm trying to think of some other ones that come up. A big one is my boss didn't train me. But Harold, we hear those things, and we listen, and we can't change that at that moment, right? But there's always two sides of a story too, and sometimes I'll give the boss a call and say, hey, this person missed this and this, and they're like, well, they actually had like 3 weeks to 4 weeks of training. So there's always two sides of a story. So.
Corey, you're wrong. You're wrong. There's three sides to a story. There's your side, there's my side, and the truth somewhere in between. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Like the X-Files.
Jim, I just want to point out, he just said that he's not always right. That's what I heard.
For everybody else, not for you.
And we actually have that on record. That's actually been recorded. So we may be playing that back in our staff meeting.
Whoa, me and my big mouth. What do you say to people that do have these failing excuses and those type of things? What kind of support and help can you give?
A lot of times, you said our evaluators go the extra mile. If it's later in the day and they have time, they go over the different. If it's a hands-on thing, go back over it with the individual. There's times we talk about like, hey, this is when you're taking a test, these are great test taking tips to do. Start with this. If you're struggling on a question, you have an hour, so don't spend 15 minutes on a question. Just let it go and move forward. So we just try to give them some tips that will help them be successful.
Talking about tips and all, I know you've worked hard on that website, and now you have a YouTube channel. I mean, do you offer that up? And is that something that really helps?
Yeah. So Jim, if you don't mind pulling up the YouTube channel, we basically, by the end of this year, our hope, or not this year, let me rephrase that. By the end of 2021, our goal is to have every single test procedure up on the YouTube. And so, that's an area we do point people to. So if they're struggling with Texas gyratory, we, guide them to where that is, and they can watch it over and over. But, so there's those tools for them to use. The key though is practice. Like you can watch a video, but you also got to practice the hands-on. So kind of using the video as a tool as you are doing that same test.
So Corey, if I'm in charge of somebody and I have them coming down to the center to be certified, what kind of recommendation or what kind of regiment would you do? What would you offer to me? I want to make sure my people don't spell down here. I want them to be successful. Give me kind of a small process of how much timing on training and looking at videos and those type of things. Do you have kind of an estimate or a thought process on that?
I would say majority of the people that come through and go to our training class and then 2 to 3 weeks later, go back, practice that for 2 to 3 weeks, and then come back to the certification class, I would say majority of those people pass. I would say 90%, 95%. But if I wasn't going to send someone to the center, I would utilize those tools. I'd utilize the videos. I'd make sure that I was teaching them the math. That's another area that a lot of people really struggle with, is the math area. And also knowing where to find things. So Matt, we'll use 1B, mat segregation. We don't say in text 207 part 5, the question, right? We say, when performing mat segregation or density profile, blah, 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 right? And so knowing that mat segregation density profile is actually 207 part 5, kind of knowing the language is a huge help for them as well.
So going over all those would apply if you're going to go through the virtual certification, just as if you're doing the face-to-face certification.
And we're not there quite yet with all the trainings for virtual, but we have a level 1A virtual training class. We have an Ag 101 virtual training class coming in January. We're going to have the SB 101 training class and a level 2.
One thing I know that we're being very strong about here at TXAPA, and I know you are at the HMAC, and y'all have initiated a program talking about the importance of the technician, how valuable not only what the technician is and who he is, but the job that he performs. And I think I've heard the word, what we do matters. What we do matters. Tell me about that program, Corey, at the center.
So, it was a team effort. We kind of did some brainstorming around here. Jim had a lot to help with it too, and creating the presentation with myself. But basically, we created a program that's what you do matters. And really what we want these technicians to know is that while they're out there, that what they do matters. It makes a difference. But we don't want to just tell them that. It's one thing I can tell my son something over and over, but he really has to experience it and be part of that conversation as well. And so in it, when we develop the PowerPoint or the program, we talk about why does it matter? And we're not giving them the answer. It's kind of an open discussion. We talk about it as a class of why what you do, why does it matter? And we get some interesting answers.
What kind of answers do you get?
Well, I think that the number one is it puts food on my table.
Yeah,
so it's a job. Yeah, so that's another one. I've heard safety. If I'm not doing my job out there on the road, I might be creating a hazard for the traveling public. It's tax dollars. So a lot of people realize that, and I think that's probably through this last 3 months that we've been doing it, 2 months that we've been doing it. I've been surprised, in a good way, about how many people do care.
That's great news to hear that people do recognize that what they do matters. I know we get so busy out in the field, we're doing work, and a lot of times we don't get to pat somebody on the back. We don't get to tell somebody what a great job they did. And those guys are out there every day. And I say guys and gals. When I say guys, I mean everybody. They're out there doing a heck of a job. They're on the front lines. They're doing everything they can to keep our projects going and to get those good, accurate results. So that's interesting and the good news too. Yeah. That's really good news. So, one thing that I've always heard around here is what matters about the proficiency program. And the proficiency program is a big program around here and has been going on for a long time, but it's kind of like, why is that such an important, and why does that matter?
Well, the first thing, it's federally mandated, so you have to participate in it. It's part of the program, and so you want to do that. And in that, it's also an independent test on you. So let's say you were level 1A, and you're doing your proficiency. We're looking at you as an individual, not, there's no grade. I know you get a 1, a 5, a 2, all those different things. But really, those are tools that help you, Harold, decide like, okay, why did I get a 1? Well, maybe there was a hole in my sieve. Maybe, maybe I'm running the test procedure wrong, and it gives you that opportunity to correct that behavior right then and there.
So I know in my time on the certification steering committee, we would get a lot of people who they might have had duplicate results from somebody. So I guess my question to you is, we're talking about why does it matter? Is it bad if I get in a big hurry, I'm on my job, I can't tear myself away, I can't go get the equipment or whatever it might be, and I just grab somebody else's results and put it down in there? Is that a bad thing?
Is cheating bad, Harold? That's the question. Is cheating bad? And I'm going to say yes.
Yep.
So, you know, it's part of your job. It's part, you sign it in your rights and responsibility that you're going to participate in that proficiency program. And so by duplicating someone else's results, and we will know, I mean, the truth is the steering committee, most of their time is investigating people in the proficiency program. And, you know, that's one area we would really hope to lower that down. So
what if I was in that same situation and I just said, you know what, I just can't get to it. I'm just going to have to get in trouble and I just don't turn in any results. Is that as bad as the first scenario?
That is way better than the first scenario, because in that scenario, just not doing it, you know, if you don't, you know, do your proficiency or don't respond to a rating of 2 or below, basically all that happens is you become inactive, and all you have to do is come back through the program again to become active again. By falsifying reports or using someone else's data, what happens there is you have to come before the steering committee, and, you know, there's been everything from 6 months suspension to, you know what, you're revoked and are no longer to be in our industry.
So not turning in results at that point is a lot better than, I guess you're right, it's cheating and using somebody else's results. So,
yeah,
you know, you can almost carry that one step further to out in the field to our real jobs. So we're out there in the real job. We got a lot going on out there. I just can't get to it. I see somebody else did this test already, and I put that down. Bad thing.
Bad thing, you know, and the steering committee has had those situations before too. And I will just say in those situations, almost 100% are revoked. You're no longer to be in our industry and those type of things. And that's just the beginning, because if you're doing that and it's a federal project, then, you know, there could be some jail time and different things like that as well.
So there again, I guess I'm trying to get in my mind through these processes that we have to talk about is that not putting a test result. If I didn't run the test, not putting a test result down is the best thing to do. It's just to leave it blank.
Leave it blank. It's easier to answer why you left it blank than to have to defend yourself for cheating.
Well, isn't the best thing to do to actually run the test and put your own data in there?
That is the best thing to do.
Jim?
Sorry.
You have a way of coming back around to the point.
That is the
we
best
must
thing.
do the test. We must do it accurately and report those test results. There's no doubt. But I think what we have to deal with sometimes, or what Corey you're having to deal with, and we hear people just get so busy. We're stretched out. There's lots of things going on, of course, but there again, that's really not an excuse.
Some are working days, some are working nights at the same time, so it's difficult. But, you know, excuses are excuses.
So what's your recommendation? We're in that situation that we just talked about. What's your recommendation to people who find themselves in that situation? What do they need to do?
Well, as Jim said, run the test. You want to make sure that you are, you know, you run every test that you're supposed to run, that you place those results. You know, Jim, can you pull up on we created a tool that we just put out. It's still in draft, but if you can go to the TXHMAC.org page.
Yep.
Under tools, there's HMAC forms, and there's 2 documents that we have right now. One of them is a lot, and so basically you can put all your information in there. So it's one document that you can keep track of.
Oh, there it is. Okay, hang on a second. I hit the wrong button. There we go.
Okay, no worries. It's the lot, and so you put your name, you date it, you put the CSJ, the highway, you know, the C batch number for that, you know, all the things. There's even bag numbers for your TxDOT bags, but put it all on that document. Use blue ink, because then, you know, it's solid and no one can erase it. And, you know, keep that stored, you know, once you got that, go put it into the template, and, you know, you put it in the template. Like, I should never hand you my document, Harold, and say, hey, can you enter this for me? You should always make sure you're putting that in there so that you know that the number that gets put in there matches up. Because if I hand that document to you, Harold, and, you know, you put a different number and then you still put my name, I'm still liable for that.
So using wadded up sheets of paper and napkins and things like that, probably not a good practice.
You know, I think we should raise the bar, and we shouldn't be doing that anymore. And I think we should, you know, we have a tool right here we can print. You know, I've seen people use a, you know, what do you call that little ledger thing? And they, you know, every day they just flip the page and do it. But, you know, I think this will be a good tool for people to use and utilize.
So, you know, I think just the other thing to do is you can keep it. You've got a record of what the number is. If there's ever a transposition when the
Yeah.
data is entered, you actually have a record to go back and say, yeah, it was 2.3, not 3.2. And so it's not, I'm not changing numbers. I'm correcting an error.
Yeah,
Exactly.
agree.
So Corey, did I hear you say, I know you have recommended forms now, and hopefully we can get to standardized forms one day, so everybody's on the same page. But did you say you already had, or you're in the process of doing recommended procedures or processes to keep all that?
We're gonna be in the process. We're in the process of doing that. The other thing we're in the process of doing is, a lot of times out there, if you're at the plant, you may not know the frequency you're actually supposed to be doing. So we're going to create some tools that are under that tool header there that basically are just some one-pagers that just say, hey, if I'm testing an SMA, this is my frequency of testing. I'm testing, GAs this much, densities this much, and kind of those type of tools as well.
I got a question that came in, Corey, if you don't mind. This has to do with can a technician request an extension of the due date instead of cheating or not turning in anything in?
We haven't got to that point, but I think that would probably be a great thing is to, send an email so that there is a paper copy. But most time there shouldn't be a reason you can't do it. You usually have anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. And even with the soil ones that we're doing right now, you have 2 months. So, you should be able to find time to do it within that 2 months. And so I would try to just be proactive, get it done, and be done with it. And what I would do there as well is I would, same thing. I'd use that form, I'd write in blue ink, and I'd save that piece of paper after I've entered it into the Hot Mix Asphalt Center's webpage. I'd keep that in a file for myself. But if you're in a bind, reaching out and being honest is probably your best bet.
I think, Jim, in that situation, communication is always best. If you find you're in any type of situation where you can't adhere to the rules or regulations, you need to communicate. You need to let somebody know at the center that I'm in this situation, this happened, and they can give direction at that point. But just ignoring the situation, I think that's when you make it worse.
Good point.
So, Corey, Jim brings up a good point. What's some of the best excuses you've heard over the time about I wasn't able to do this, or I can't do this, or I can't show up for that?
Best excuses, huh? Well, there's been, I'm not going to call them excuses. There's people that have medical reasons, and the steering committee looks at that as well. But trying to think of an excuse offhand. Probably I'm just busy. I was working nights, I was working days, those type of things.
So I think that puts us in a situation sometimes, and this is, I was just approached with this question the other day and really wasn't prepared for it. But
so
somebody called.
Prepared for it?
Well, it was one of those things that you go, wow, really? One of the technicians showed up at one of our member sites, and he was certified, he was current, but he really didn't know exactly what he should be doing. He didn't know his certified level responsibilities and didn't carry that out. What would be your answer to that question? What would you be your recommendation to someone who encounters that situation?
So the first thing I do is I would call that person's supervisor and just ask, most likely that's someone that's representing the state at that point that's coming into, my lab. And I would get a hold of whoever his boss was and say, hey, can you, give this guy a little bit more training and send me someone different tomorrow until that person's ready to come back. You'd probably want to help them through the day, but then, communicate. You said it. Use communication and just send someone that, can do their job.
Or maybe they could send someone along with them to help them walk them through it.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to start somewhere,
Exactly.
and nobody wakes up or is born knowing how to run asphalt tests. So you got to learn it, and you got to learn how to do all that sort of stuff. And I think we want to encourage people. We don't want to drive people out. We want to drive people towards it, and we make it a good environment where they know they're not going to get beat up or hammered down if they make a mistake, that they're going to say, hey, I'm going to coach you. I'm not going to beat you up. I think there's some benefits there. So everybody should take the opportunity to coach as much as we can.
Yeah, we want to set each other up for success, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Corey, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like that y'all are going to a lot of extra work to provide some tools. Recommended forms now. You've got recommended processes. Jim, do you have a question?
Yeah, just Ramon wrote in and said, have mentors.
There you
So
go.
that's a
Very
great one.
great idea.
That's perfect. That's
When I got into the industry, Jim, that's what I had. I had people like Byron Kneifel or Brian Phillips that actually, poured into me and taught me.
You bet. And I think that's what the younger generation wants too. I think they appreciate a mentor. I think they want somebody to come in and help them. And Jim, you're right. If we give them a little encouragement, we've seen them just respond. Those new people really respond and get fired up and do a terrific job. So that's what we need to do, is just set them up for success. And Corey, I just want to say, tell me again about all these different tools. I mean, it sounds like you're really gearing up. You really understand what they do matters. And now you are making sure that you're providing those tools to help them matter in their job.
We want to provide tools at the center that are helping the industry as a whole, whether it's the company or the technician, train and be set up for success in their job. Another thing that we're working on right now is Kayla and her team are going to be working on math modules. So on our YouTube page, if you don't know how to calculate a density, that's going to be a math module. Text 207 Part 1. You're going to be able to calculate that. We're going to have a module for every single test procedure too that there's math involved in.
Fantastic. With that, I was just wanting to, are there any changes that you see on the horizon? Is there any big? I know you've had so many changes going on with virtual certification, those type of things. Is there any other big changes you see on the horizon? Is there anything we need to be looking forward to?
Yeah, so with the proficiency program, there's several things. Just thought of the proficiency program. One of the things that'll happen starting 2021, so the level 1A proficiency, is your raw data will be uploaded into the system as well. That way, when you hand write the data onto the computer, you also have to turn in a copy of your raw data. So we're working on that to have that happen. Another big thing will be, like I said earlier, we have pilot classes for our virtual classes coming up. We have SB 101 training coming up, SB 102 training coming up, and level 2.
Well, I know virtual certification has gotten extremely popular. Are those classes filled up, or are they easy to get into? What's that process again?
We only put so many classes out there, but once we need more people, then we fill them up, because our goal is to have a full class every time. So most classes, a 1B has 8 or 9 people in it. So we kind of project out, but once we get phone calls or emails saying, hey, can you add this? A class goes up within a day or two.
And I think that's kind of the important thing is if you see something that's full, say something.
Yeah.
See something, say something. And you guys are very proactive about trying to, meet the needs. But if you're not telling them, so reach out to HMAC. 512-312-2099 is their phone number. So give them a call.
Yeah. And the other thing too is, we've been working today. We were working on our calendar. We're going to kind of be at a 6, instead of doing like starting in January all the way to December, having all the classes up. What we're going to do is kind of a month by month. So, probably next week or the following, all the way through February will be up. And then once November hits, March will come up. Then, December, and we're going to always be 6 months out. So you can kind of see what those classes are doing as well.
Well, Corey, one thing I heard about the virtual classes is there were some concerns at first that, there might be a higher failure rate for those going through virtual versus coming to face-to-face. Have y'all seen any difference in that?
It's about a 5% higher failure rate.
And what would you credit that to?
It's more difficult. The test is a little harder to do because you're taking it on a computer. A written test, I can flip forward, flip backwards. On a computer, I got to click next, So, test taking tips, write down the questions that you skip. That way you can go back and not have to look at everyone and those type of things.
You can go back and forth.
You can go back and forth.
Okay.
And
still open book test.
Still open book test and those type of things. You actually get 30 minutes extra just because it's more difficult to go forward and backwards on a computer. But we are seeing a higher fail rate, and both on the hands-on and in the written test.
So Corey, got another question from Caroline. When is SB 101 going to be available in virtual format, or did you cover that already?
So SB 101 certification is already available.
Okay.
What we'll be doing in January, and I think it's the first or second week of January, we just did the calendar this morning, will be the training class for SB 101.
Okay. So you'll have both.
We'll have
in
both.
January.
Yeah, the goal eventually is to have anything that we do in person, we'll do virtually as well.
Good. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Carolyn, for the question.
Fantastic, Corey. So all the training programs will eventually be virtual, as well as the certification itself. So, and you're working diligently, I know, on getting those down there. So great job. You know, I think what we've been saying through this process, and it's just really hitting me of, you know, back in 2018 when Albert Slaughter was our president, our annual meeting, we kind of began a whole process of raise the bar, and we raised the bar for everybody, you know, for ourselves, for everybody. And it sounds like you and the HMAC are really meeting that, and y'all are raising the bar for technicians by providing all the tools for them.
Yeah, I think as a staff, we've never, you know, been staffed like we've been, and it gives us the opportunity and the ability to raise the bar. So we're not, you know, behind anymore. We're getting out in front and able to do new and exciting things.
So really, it sounds like to me, and I mean this in a very positive way for everybody, is you're eliminating excuses.
Yes.
I mean, we're going to eliminate the excuses. We're taking that away, so we can provide all the tools you need to really set people up for success, and that's our goal.
Yeah. You know, we talk about the training programs. We do offer training, but you know, in reality, our goal is, hey, we've provided tools for you. You can train your people and really begin, like you were saying, Jim, that mentor. I don't remember the gentleman's name, but Ramon, that mentorship program, right? So you know, there's the tools. Harold, teach me.
Fantastic. You know, one of those things that I would desperately need, and that y'all are really working on, is the math module. I think that's terrific. I mean, what a great program. We take it for granted that all of us know the math we need to do our daily jobs, but you know, it's just not that easy anymore. You know, and having a math module that somebody can go back to, you'll have it on your webpage or you'll have it on the YouTube channel, and be able to refer to that and go to that. I think that's a big help.
Yeah, I'm having to hold back a Mississippi State.
I was on that. I was going to say something about Harold having to take his shoe off.
Watch yourself, Jimmy. Watch yourself, Jimmy.
I won't say it.
We're going to make modules for even a Mississippi State grad can pass the test.
Woo-hoo. Well, you will eliminate all excuses at that point.
Sorry about that, Harold.
But fantastic. I just love this raising the bar, because the job the technician does matters.
It does matter.
It's one of our most important elements of our program.
I mean,
Absolutely.
you think about what matters also. I mean, we're talking about a stockpile. Let's just say flex space. That's 40,000 ton stockpile, $7. You're talking about $300,000. So when you're taking that sample, it matters how you take that sample. And so, you know, we talk about that in the class of, hey, you know, there, you know, and that's just the stockpile. That's not even the ground that it's sitting on, right? And so, you know, do your job is kind of what we get with that.
You bet. That's fantastic. Hey, we've covered lots of good territory here. I don't want to keep this conversation going on way too long, so I want to kind of draw it to an end. So,
Corey even got a compliment. Corey is doing a great job. So,
wow.
Is that one of my staff members?
That's your wife.
I do not tell her where this is because she will be judging me.
But you know, I want to echo that comment and thank you for that comment, because Corey is doing a great job. His staff is doing a great job. The evaluators, everybody at the HMAC has really upped the game, and they are raising the bar, and they raised the bar for themselves. So thank you for that comment.
Thank you.
And Corey, doing a great job. Keep it up. Any last comments for us?
I'm trying to think of anything else that, you know, it's helpful to share. You know, you asked of another big change. You know, basically the 1B certification class. In the past, we never really showed how to do the hands-on. Well, the past 3 years, we showed people how to do it, and we're kind of at our end of our 3-year cycle. And so soon, the little refresher, hour and a half refresher at the beginning of that class will be not available anymore. And so you'll really want to come and make sure your people are certified before they come in.
So I think some of the things that we talked about, number one is communication. I think communication is very vital for our technicians. Well, we know the communication is vital on the job side and in the lab and in their job, but also communicating with the HMAC.
Yeah,
we know that's very important.
I think with that one, Harold, though, the communication with the HMAC is, if there's a tool out there that y'all utilize, let us know. And, you know, if we can make it available to everyone to, you know, make, you know, our industry better, you know, that's what we're looking to do. So, you know, if you see something, you know, on our tool that we can improve, let us know so we can make it better. So communicate with us.
You bet. The other thing is tools, and Corey went over a lot of tools that he has up there now. Of course, the web page with all the information You just got all kind of good information on that. Now I even
Mm-hmm.
saw where you were putting up information on the proficiency program to explain why it is so important and why it matters.
Yeah, we're improving that, and actually going to put timelines there too that kind of show what happens in a year or two, so there's no excuses. That's what we want to get away from.
So be sure and check out the updated web page, check out the YouTube page, and those type of things. Anything else?
That's it, Harold.
Corey, thank you so much. Jim, you got anything else for Corey?
Nope, that's all the questions that have come in.
Oh wait, actually there is one more thing. We're going to be doing at the last week of the last Thursday of October, we're going to have a QCQA roadmap to success at the plant, and then the first Thursday of November we're going to be doing the exact same thing, a webinar like this on QCQA roadmap to success on the road.
All right, explain that to me a little bit more. What is, for the audience, what is the roadway map to success? What would that entail?
Both of these will be panel discussion where we bring in someone, I'll be leading the panel, me and you actually, and hopefully you, but we'll have a
good answer. Good answer.
Y'all can tell I don't like being in front of a camera, but we'll have a contractor, we'll have a CNI, and we'll have a TXAPA employee, and our hope is to kind of just have a discussion on what are some tools and ways that we can have a roadmap to be successful in our jobs, whether we're at the plant or on the road.
So that will be at the plant, and the next one will be on the road.
On the road. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Another great tool that everybody would need to tune into to look at, and that way people can learn their responsibilities and some great tips on what needs to be done. So great job. Well, with that, I just want to say thank you once again to everybody out there, all of our partners, all of our industry members. Thank you so much for participating with us, for supporting us, for being a part of this operation and all the things that are going on. So we want to say thank you to our frontline people out there, our heroes that are in the labs, that are on the roadway, at the plants. Thank you so much for doing everything you're doing to keeping our industry going. And we just want to thank you to all the medical people out there, all the military, police, and people who are keeping us secure. So thank you for that. So with that, I want to say, see you later. Thank you very much. Go outside and get some of that good old Texas sunshine on you. Thank you.